Welcome to the lighter side of the spectrum, the podcast that celebrates the multiple hats we wear and the juggling acts we perform in life. Whether you're parenting kids and teens on the autism spectrum, navigating the ever-evolving healthcare industry, or building a more inclusive and impactful world, this is your space to find connection, inspiration, and growth. Together, we'll share stories, tackle challenges, and explore how innovation and inclusion create better outcomes for everyone. Because no matter the spectrum, there's always a lighter side. Now here's your host, David Kaufer.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the lighter side. I'm David Kaufer, and today I'm going to talk about what if everything you thought you knew about Down syndrome was wrong? What if the child you thought couldn't spell was ready to write a book? Today's episode might just change the way you see intelligence, communication, and possibility. Welcome back to the lighter side of the spectrum. I'm your host, David Kaufer, and today's guest is someone whose work and heart speaks directly to the core of the show. Darcy Day is a speller's method provider, a trained practitioner in spelling to communicate, and a mom on a real mission. With more than 30 years of teaching experience and a master's in gifted and talented education, Darcy brings the perfect mix of professional insight and personal fire. And I do mean fire. Her son Brady, who's here with us today, is one of the first open spellers with Down syndrome. And he inspired her to walk a path few have dared to explore, believing in the intelligence and agency of individuals with Down syndrome when nearly no one else would. And today, Darcy runs the only spelling clinic in the world dedicated specifically to the Down syndrome community. Darcy is a national speaker, a relentless advocate for presuming competence, and one of the most encouraging, energizing people I've met in our community in this movement. So with all of that, Darcy, welcome to the lighter side of the spectrum. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. Oh, we're so excited to be here.
Yeah, and Brady, it's great to have you here as well. Again, we've had a chance to interact and talk in our Speller Ohana community, which is like a weekly Zoom call for mostly like non-speakers and those who are kind of within the spelling community. It's really great. It's been a chance for the community to connect, make friendships, all that. But Darcy, why don't you kind of like start from the top and tell us a little bit of your background and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, I have no idea. No,
All right, well, moving on.
no, I'm kidding. Um, well, taught in public school and private, all over. And then had Brady, and I like to put this part in, and I don't talk about it much, but he had extreme medical issues.
Okay.
He was induced coma for, a month. He had
Oh, wow.
6 surgeries within 6 months, from 1 to 1.5, tons of anesthesia, right? And very complicated beginning. And so I say that because a lot of people, well, my kid's, done this, has anesthesia, that who cares? They can still do this.
Oh,
And,
I see. So you're saying like people kind of use that as a reason why they feel like it may not work, which we
brain
might get into,
damage.
like, or brain damage. Okay, yeah, which we're gonna get into that because that's like
Yeah.
I know a big component of your work.
Yeah. So rough beginning. I was teaching. I love teaching. I was a very unconventional one. Probably wouldn't surprise you. And we all saw it on balls and, had a great time. And so that kind of set me up for, I really think, for where we are now. But I ended up quitting. It was just, he had so many medical needs that I had to choose, which was,
Sure.
I'm so glad, because my route would have been so different in my life. And so, stayed home with him, tried school for, I don't know, enough years to invoke trauma, and pulled
Yeah.
him at first grade, and then started homeschooling. And I'm telling you, like, if you're listeners, I remember pulling him and crying on the bed going, oh, what am I gonna do now? Because I'm like, and here I was a teacher all these years, but
I would say, but at least you're a teacher. I mean,
oh no, it was so bad. I was so scared because, I don't know, maybe I was conditioned to think like, I had my own perception of homeschoolers. It's much different now, right? But back then
yes,
I'm like, I
it
don't
has
know.
changed. No, you're right. I mean, it's changed a lot because a lot of the situations have changed, motivations, right? Like there's a lot more that's kind of gone into, I think, homeschooling today versus, 10,
I
15,
think
20
so
years
much
ago.
easier right now, and
Yeah.
it's more accepted now. And so
Yeah.
anyway, my husband's like, well, you're going to homeschool him. I'm like, what? And so I failed miserably doing that. And because, I didn't know. And but you know what we did do well is I knew I wanted Brady to be active, right? I didn't want a lethargic, typical person with Down syndrome sitting on the couch all day, which is easy to do, right? And so I wanted
Sure.
to be very athletic. And so we exercised a lot. We went
Wow, that's
hiking.
great.
That was his homeschool. And so,
Yeah.
and fast forward to when we first started spelling, I mean, so I homeschooled, but really homeschooling was like physical activity, right, Brady?
Yeah.
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 And so I did not feed him. I don't know. You might have heard stuff from we haven't really talked about this, but maybe he heard his sisters learning because we had three kids super close in age, like 2 years,
Okay.
three of them. So he might have heard like some of the things they're learning,
Oh, sure.
you know,
Yeah.
but he wasn't always there. Like I had caretakers that were very athletic. That was the stipulation. And they would go and do
That was,
athletic
are
stuff
you a marathoner? You're hired.
pretty much. So when I got wind of spelling and I saw an interview
I was
and
gonna say, so how did
yeah,
you hear about spelling and make
yeah,
that connection?
weird, David. And I don't even know why I opened it up in my inbox, but I have no idea. I opened it up and here was an interview, the original one from Jamie and JB. And I mean, most people probably haven't seen it, but it was a long time ago. And it was the original one with Dawn Marie and him. And he was typing before any of the speller stuff, right? And
Before the movie, yeah. Must have been like right when the book was coming out, though, right? I would imagine.
I don't know. I should
Really?
ask. It
Yeah.
might have been before that,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
And he typed, this is what got me. He typed and he said, Dad, thanks for getting me out of the prison of silence. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I was just staring. And, he had some autistic tendencies. And so I was like, wow, I wonder. And so literally that night, I'm like, who's the lady in the interview? I really like her. It was
Right.
Dawn Marie.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, she resonated with me. I'm like, I need to know who she is. I'm going to go see her. I don't care where she lives. And I think I need to be a practitioner. I don't even know why. I was just like,
Right away, even you were
right
like,
that night.
wow.
And so
Wow.
I stayed up very late. And then, yeah. And then the next day, ironically, Dawn Marie at that time was doing Zooms to kind of introduce what spelling was.
Right.
And so I got on that Zoom and I booked that day and Airbnb. And then I told my husband, I'm going to California.
I love it. I love it.
I'm going with Brady and we're trying. He's like,
He's like, huh?
okay, another one
Okay.
of Darcy's things.
Yeah, I would say I'm sure by that time he knew you. He knew it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. But let me tell you something. So I started the training 2 weeks before I took Brady to Dawn Marie and she said, don't start. And so I basically had other kids. I was they were guinea pigs for me. No, not really, but sort of, right? Because you're starting out and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but then you get really good training in S2C and spellers. They're phenomenal places to get training. But at the beginning, you're feeling clumsy, right? And so, but I
Oh
traced
yeah.
out the letters of poor Brady, man. I traced the letters out. I have to say this. I know you don't like this, but I traced the letters out because I'm like, that B looks like a 1 and a 3. I mean, come on. How is he going to know it's a B? And like, I was skeptical. And I made note cards of each letter and we quizzed you I've already apologized, for 2 weeks on making sure he knew his letters. So he's
Hmm.
18 at the time, right? But I never had any evidence. Probably, I don't know
Right.
you,
And
right?
you're so, I mean, it doesn't surprised me only because, again, we all, I think, had somewhat similar experiences, whether, again, it's autism or Down or just, again, being kind of in the system, so to speak, that, like you said, the expectations are
Yeah.
just set so low. And there's just so much of that kind of negative reinforcement that it's hard not to get caught up in, even if we know that our kids are smart, which, we knew, right? But what is
Mhm.
smart? Like, what did that mean? Like, because again, all the quote unquote evidence was they don't know their letters, they don't know this, it's all what they didn't know. So, like you, Darcy, I was cautiously optimistic in our, when we first began. It was funny because it was actually a family friend of JB's who had reached out to me just kind of coincidentally, said, "Hey, you might be interested in this book. They've had the story. Jamie seems a lot like Stone because she's been tracking, our progress on Facebook, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, okay. And JB said, go see Don Marie, go see DM. And I'm like, all right, why not? Like, we had nothing to lose. I'm like, worst case scenario, we're gonna have 4 days in San Diego, which is awesome. I love San Diego. It'll be a fun trip.
But
Little,
that's it, David. You said, why not? That's it right there.
yeah,
What do we have to lose?
we have to lose, and which is true, right? I mean, I guess you could say it's money and time and the biggest thing, frankly, I don't know about you, Darcy, for me, it's just that hope. I think, again, you're not allowing yourself to have hope because I'm sure you had explored a lot of different alternative, whatever. Like, there's all these different paths that you can go down to try to help unlock our kids and help them progress. Many of which just really, in our case, just didn't really do much. And so, after a while, you're kind of like, all right, is this another? Yeah, it worked for them. It's not going to work for me.
They have a special kind of Down syndrome. Let's go. I always used to
Right.
think that they're special, you know,
Yeah, yeah, it's
and
different. It's special.
yeah, it's a different kind, or like, I always, in the Down syndrome community, it's the speech. Is it the same in autism? Like, it is so heavily speech, 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 but it's like,
Oh yeah.
how's that going for you? Like, is your kid conversing reliably and having a conversation? Guess what? It's always no. Well, 99.99% no in the Down syndrome community.
Yeah.
It's true. But what do? We keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. And I'm not saying speech therapists are all evil or bad, but like, how is it helping? Is it really helping?
If they can't, yeah. If they can't speak, they can't speak. And there's a reason why they can't. It's whether it's apraxia, it's motor driven, as we've learned, right? This collective we in the community,
Yeah.
it's maddening because it seems so obvious once you know and once you understand that, and like you, Darcy, I'm kind of like, what the heck were we doing? Like, but you get convinced that it's kind of like speech or nothing. Now, in our case, we did try some, and this is one of the questions I have for you, is we did try some AAC. We tried Proloquo when it first came out years and years ago, right? But Stone just was unable to utilize it because it's actually a lot more complicated than people think. I mean, it requires motor planning and it requires a lot more than just simply pointing to something, and it just never clicked. And so that was kind of like it. We're like, well, he can't use that. So it was always like, well, he has some words, so we'll just keep working on that. We're just going to build on the vocabulary, and you're like, okay. I mean, because you just feel like that's all you have.
Mhm, mhm. We had lots of AAC devices, and it's interesting, most of the time, well, he knew certain buttons, he could find them, right? And can I say, Brady? The fart button was the one he always
Of
found.
course, yeah, perfect.
How can he do that and not do the other ones? Because maybe he repeated it so many times, it was more like myelinated in the brain. But
Yeah.
like, first of all, I think you've said, and I'm not sure, Brady, or I've thought, like, they're stupid. Sorry, guys. But like, my language isn't like that. It doesn't fit in a box. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
have so much more robust communication than those buttons. Second, I can't get my darn finger to do the right icon anyway. So throw it. And he did used to throw it. And no wonder. It was so
I don't
frustrating.
blame you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So hey,
The level of frustration
I'm
would
gonna
just be so
I'm gonna
high.
have him go in. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Is that okay, dude? Yeah. Okay.
We'll catch it later.
Yeah, because you said you wanted to go. Good. Sorry, he spelled he wanted to stay for some of it, so that was kind of a hard call, but
Yeah, no
I'm
problem.
not sure.
No, I'm glad that he was here. It was great seeing
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, so the robust communication. Hey, I trained parents on AAC devices. I was so into it.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, I guess with your background, right,
Mhm.
that you had exposure to it and understood at least some of its potential with certain students.
They just can't point reliably consistently, right? That's the problem. Oh, I should have had Brady here.
Okay, go
Nice
for it.
stone.
I know. Well, we'll connect them later, right? At
Yeah,
Smella
yeah,
Rohana. They can talk about the podcast.
yeah.
Stone likes to monitor it. So, so I think that's interesting. Talk about the motor and apraxia. And is that, again, we've learned in the autism community how common it is. He's back.
I think
All
he wants
right.
to be here. That's good.
Absolutely. You're more than welcome. That's great,
Yeah,
Brady.
fine, Brady.
Um, but is it as common? Obviously, it must be as
Mm.
common in the Down syndrome community as well. Is it? And is it similar apraxia in terms of just the motor control?
Yeah. So I have I mean majority of my practices with people with Down syndrome, but I do have some clients with autism too.
Okay.
It works the immersion camps primarily with autism. So I yes, as far as apraxia, motor planning, getting your body to do what you want to do, similar.
Similar.
Um
Okay. Yeah.
similar. I would say similar. The hardest part is, right, and even in the autism population is the parents. Well, we don't hear a lot of apraxia in Down syndrome except speech apraxia. But like you, we've never heard global apraxia. But let me tell you, the Down syndrome population, ocular apraxia,
Right.
off the charts. Oh my gosh, their vision. Well, think of it. I mean, it's got to have to do with that 21st chromosome. The shape of the eyes are different. And so
That makes
I'm
sense.
seeing I would say almost 100% of my clients have vision anomalies and pretty significant ones.
Wasn't that one of your aha moments with Brady too, when he was able to communicate, if I remember right?
Yes, you're right.
Right.
You know what he said? Well, what he spelled? So he was open, he's like, I'm seeing multiple letters of each letter. So he had memorized, I'm figuring the board where all the letters were, he couldn't even see them. And he was
That's
spelling
amazing.
openly. We went to Dr. Daniel and she assimilated me what he was seeing. And she said, okay, Darcy, I want you to poke to the M. So it was a 26 board. And she put this thing over me. She says, this is what Brady's seen. I'm like, oh, you know what it was? It was like
Wow.
JMMLK, JML, JMM. That's what it looked like. So I'm like, my best shot. I went like that. And it was way over on the left side. It was the very edge of the left.
Wow.
It was in the middle. Our kids compensate.
I mean, you talk about compensation and just it how much brain power it takes anyway, or to do the motor planning and control, right? I mean, it takes a lot. I mean, I'm sure it's got to be exponentially more when you're dealing with something like that. I mean, that then again, you're just kind of layering challenge upon challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, that vision, right, dictates movement. So no wonder I thought he was afraid of heights. It was because he couldn't see.
Yeah,
It's a vision.
yeah, yeah. But now that's obviously you were able to rectify most of that and the vision to,
First, it's a process,
is
David.
it? Okay.
I think with inflammation and all that, sometimes the eyes change. So it it is changing. The last time he saw Dr. Daniel, he's like, I need a reset. My vision's blurry again. So we see her frequently now because it just, I don't know why it's keep on changing, but I'm not sure why. Assumption is maybe inflammation or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Mhm.
Now, again, you're very vocal, very passionate supporter of spelling and communication within the Down syndrome community. And I want you to talk a little bit about that because, again, it seems like, spelling got its foothold in the autism community, probably just because of, there's just so many more, and, and that's just kind of the way it's grown, word of mouth, all that. But you obviously heard about it, made the connection, and said, "Hey, this is for you. This is for Brady." And it started working. And now, you're on this mission to get the word out and to help others. Talk about how that's going and some of the, I know, unique challenges you're facing there.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Um, I get there's a lot of pushback. I've gotten kicked out of many, many groups. Um,
And when you say pushback from who?
well, neighbors, friends that used to be friends, all the people that grew up with Brady, his age with Down syndrome. I don't know. I kind of feel weird saying this because it's like, well, what kind of friends were they? But like, they
Yeah.
don't talk to us anymore, literally.
So
And
they've ostracized you
yeah, yeah,
because Brady can communicate now.
because it's good for you, but I don't want to hear it anymore. Your messages are getting old. You should hear the comments I get. In my Facebook feed, I'm like, delete, delete.
Right.
You
Bye-bye.
know,
Bye-bye.
yeah, but Arizona is interesting. Now, I have great local clients, but it is very slow, very, very slow.
Hmm.
And it's about 0.00000001% will reach out to me. Now, of those, many won't start. We are so conditioned. My gosh, us parents of people with Down syndrome, when we were little, and I've said this before, we think one thing, we do about Down syndrome, what? Intellectually delayed, period.
Yeah.
It's so ingrained in our everything that and what I say, I got a warning early on saying, you really shouldn't say that they're not intellectually delayed. And because you're going to scare people, I don't care. I'm saying the truth. You're going to scare people away. That's not the way you should be saying it. I just, no.
I don't understand how that scares people away. I guess that's one of the things that I struggle with. Unless, is it just easier? Is it just kind of easier to accept the old presumptions or, stereotypes for people? And
I guess, I don't know. I haven't figured it out. It's super interesting. And even, friends, like good friends I had that are very excited for him, but now, they really won't talk to me anymore. And I'm like, what is that? What is that? Um, I don't understand if people have said, well, maybe they just don't want to hope. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm ignorant, but like, I just went. I didn't future trip. Maybe I'm not very reflective or something. Like, I'm trying to think, like, why did I just do it? Like, I didn't know anything. He couldn't point to the correct letters. I don't care. I'm going, right? But I don't know. I'm not really sure what it is.
yeah, it's
But
really interesting. And
it,
but it's unfortunate because, those who pay the price are the kids, right?
I
Are
know.
the children the ones who have potential at some level? And we,
Yeah, and I've tried to get into different conventions, and no Down syndrome convention will let me speak. None.
that's crazy.
And other,
Like you've got one of the best success stories, that you could share
I
for
know.
them.
No,
John,
not one.
John.
Oh, he's asking for stone. And
Uh,
then
I think he's eating cereal. He went
Oh,
downstairs to eat some cereal.
eating cereal.
Yeah.
And then so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go through the homeschooling route because that's me. I get turned down like you don't align with our kind of mission. Well, what's your mission? Educating people. It's very interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's probably like require a different level of psychological evaluation that we're not equipped for. But like I said, it's unfortunate.
It's
How
okay. It propels me forward. I just keep going. It's
well, it
just,
certainly
yeah,
isn't stopping you, right? I mean, I've seen
right.
that. I've definitely seen that. Nor me, right? I mean, sometimes you got to rattle the cage, and you know, sometimes I think there's an expectation that just because we're within a certain community, whatever the community may be, right, that there's going to be kind of alignment and groupthink. That everyone's, you've got to kind of toe the line. And that if you speak out against something that may be kind of a popular belief, then you're doing something wrong. You're going to hurt the community somehow.
Yeah, that's right. They do think that. I've
You
gotten
know.
comments like that. That's interesting. Yeah.
Well, and I'm experiencing a little bit of it, not to the same degree, but I think you saw, that I'm kind of launching my darker side of the spectrum. And for those listening and watching, yeah, that's on my blog. I'm trying to track certain developments that are going on, particularly under this administration, particularly under uh, RFK Jr., because he is one who there are some within our community who are just, fervent believers in his, thinking that he's justifies, and again, without getting into politics, they kind of use that as their justification to vote for Trump, thinking that he's going to help the community. And let's just say I'm a skeptic. I used to be a fan. We did a whole podcast, actually. Dave, who you met, my producer Dave, and I talked about kind of after that press conference, right, where he came out and you saw the fervor with the autism community.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, anyway, I'm speaking out, and as people are like, "Well, don't he's on our side. What are you doing?" Like and it's like, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about that. But, I think healthy, reasonable debate is healthy. It's good, right? Skepticism is good as long as
It
it's
is.
respectful, and
Right.
right, and I that's the approach I try to take with it, at least.
And I kind of always ask this question if anybody gives me an opportunity, right? I say, don't you know that your child knows way more than they can show? I'm telling you, every parent of a kid with Down syndrome, read, every parent with a kid with Down syndrome is going to say yes. And they all do. So what are you going to do about that? Well, we don't know what to do. But
Here's what you
ev-
do. Here's what you
yes,
can do. Right.
right, right. I have a Facebook group just for Down syndrome and Apraxia, and there's almost 1,000 members. And I post a
Wow.
lot about Brady's words, and most of them are just still sitting there. I think it's fascinating. I'm probably going to push back on talking about this now, but it's like, guys, like Brady's not an anomaly. Like he is special. He's my son, but
Of
like
course.
I've worked with over 70 people with Down syndrome in my clinic. Okay. They're all showing competency. They're all
That's
showing
awesome.
no intellectual delay, period. Uh, but you're making it up. You're a fraud. You're false, but even it's like, well, just try it. But I have had people come and they still think I'm a fraud. It's really interesting
Even after?
when their kid is getting to the letters without me even, and I purposely try not to prompt on some of the beginning ones to just show the parents, and the kid does it. But
Right, because they
it's
know.
so that veil of deception is sometimes so strong, even if you see it, you can't believe it.
Yeah.
That's happened.
Yeah. I guess, I believe you. I believe you. I've seen it. It's just, like I said, it's just hard for me to believe because I just know that in our case, literally the first, first time we sat down, the first session, I was
Me too.
blown away, convinced. Of course, like I said, I went in trying to be a healthy skeptic. Like I said, I had some hope, but didn't, tried not to have my hopes too high, all of that. But I had the benefit of reading Underestimated. I knew that, that was there. And all of a sudden, here we are experiencing almost identically, kind of like what JB wrote about, just kind of that, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. And I still remember, DM turning to me and saying, yeah, this is paradigm changing, isn't it? I said, yeah, it really is. Like just like turn everything inside out, upside down, whatever you want to say. Although, like I said, I will say in my case, our case, I believed for a long time. I knew that there was a lot more. I knew there was more. I won't say a lot more. I knew there was more that was locked inside of Stone. I knew that because he had shown signs. And I remembered Carly Fleischman, I believe, who
Oh
was like,
yeah.
right, back in the day, early days of social media, kind of getting that exposure and seeing that, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's Stone. But he wasn't able to type like Carly. And again, like some of those things that we first tried didn't work. So then that's when the doubt starts creeping in a little
Yeah.
bit, like, well, maybe he's not like Carly. But I still knew there was something locked in. But to your point, though, like once I saw it, there's no denying. It's like, boom,
Yeah.
here we
I
go.
remember after that first session, I was like, I I mean, I'm usually not short of words. And I remember getting in the van, Brady, with him and sitting there looking at him going, I think the first thing I said was, I'm so sorry, because I
Yeah,
realized right away, right?
I'm so
And
sorry.
it was pretty quiet. I was quiet. So then round two, the same day, I'm like, I just got to go to make sure I wasn't dreaming. And it was confirmation that, like, no, I wasn't dreaming. This is all real. I mean, you were incredible. That first day, he was so, I think, like Stone too, right? I mean, it was so clear
I'm
to me.
smiling, yeah, because it's just so true, right? Like it's such a shared experience. Both what you said in terms of I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
because it hits you, again, just all of it, right? It's just kind of like this wave of emotion of just realizing that they had not had this opportunity, even though they have this capability inside. But then, like you said, then the joy, the pure joy.
Oh,
And like,
oh my gosh.
and too good to be true. Is this too good to be true? Like there were these moments that it's like, is this really happening? After all of these years, is this really happening?
I remember driving home. I was so excited to see my hut because it was just Brady and I. And did I take Grace?
Yeah.
I think one of my daughters was with us, and we're driving home. I'm like, I could not wait for Troy to see. I mean, just like to embrace. I was so excited. That's my husband. And I remember
Yeah.
getting out of the car, like running, and I'm like, and here's the thing, he didn't quite get it. He
I
had to see the videos. He was like, he was happy, but it just didn't quite make sense to him. It's like, I'd like to see the videos. He didn't say that right away, right? To like be a downer, but he really did have to see it to like kind of grasp what this really
yeah.
meant. Yeah.
It's interesting you say that because it took a little time for Renee, my wife, to come around as well. And I think in our case, it was twofold. Again, there was just kind of this a systemic bias that we all kind of had and just had to overcome. And she wasn't there to witness it, right? Like the
Yeah.
witnessing is so huge. And if you're not the one doing it, there's a little bit of that. And it's not intentional at all. They're not
No.
invented here, sort of like, you're not part of it. So it's hard to make that. There's also connection. Like I know you and Brady probably just have this connection that like Stone and I have, like when you start and the time that we spent together, all that.
Yeah.
But it was compounded in our case because again, we were doing speech therapy. And the speech therapist we had actually is our next door neighbor who, very not care, definitely showed that she cared about Stone in so many ways, tried a lot of different things, but to your earlier point, with no real progress at all. And I was kind of like, well, why are we doing this? Other than, we like her and why not sort of a thing. But she was the one who, of course, soon as she found out that we were doing this, came over with the ASHA statement and she got into Renee's head And, we had to kind of overcome that. And it was really once Renee saw a non-scripted moment when Stone was able, like we were out and he just sat down and I'm like, hey, I whipped out the letterboard. I'm like, what's going on? And he said his feet hurt. And so I tried on his shoes. We wear the same size shoe, and they were crap. I mean, like they were just like so beaten up, right? Like there's just like no support. And I'm like, oh my God, we have to get him new shoes right now. Like we went, walked, and then from that point on, then it was no doubt or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit of a hurdle for her as well.
Yeah. And for me, it was different once he became an open communicator. So for those who are listening, that means like you can communicate like when I eat grains, my stomach swells. That's what he said. Or my brain's on fire. He has spelled that before.
Right, right.
And so these are things that they can just say whatever they want with 26 letters. So you kind of understand where they are, what they're feeling, their opinions and all that. So that's open communication, right? And so when we start, as you know, David, right, you start with known questions and high cognitive lessons, and you kind of have to build up their continuum in cognitive thought. But once he became fluidly, openly communicating, it took me that long to really, I'm going to be honest here, totally get it. Like completely like that was a moment. I'll never forget that. When you spelled that, all his stuff that day, I was just like,
now when that happened, did you just like keep asking him more and more questions or
no, David?
No? Oh, okay. I was wondering because like in our case, like I said, I never really had the formal training. I mean, I got the in a way because again, you don't know what you don't know, but I did get, Dawn Marie gave me the basic training that she gives parents when you do the 3-day immersive, right? So like you were saying, I got thrown in the chair. Here you go. You're gonna have to do it. And it's like, what do I do? So I had, after, we had 6 sessions and each time I got a chance to do a little bit more with them. So I had at least some foundation. And then it was just a matter once we got back, even with just the lessons, man, I bought every lesson I could. Like we were just doing it for hours. But then finally one day I just kind of went off script and I just started asking him some questions. And he started answering these open questions. And I was just like, oh my God, this is awesome. So we just I think we sat there for like an hour and a half and I had like, 3 pages. I'm just scribbling down everything I could think of, like, everything like college mascots and because we're a huge sports family.
He knows them all.
Right. Yeah. So as did Stone and our favorite sports teams and anything I can think of, he was just like, and you could just tell he was having the time of his life, blowing me away.
We call you a rogue parent.
I definitely am rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. In our case, and
in your case,
and a lot of it, frankly, has to do with Stone and his capabilities. I mean, he's kind of a rogue speller in the sense that he kind of flew through all the different levels a lot faster than I know a lot of.
Yeah, your story. Have you shared your story and all that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And we've talked a little bit about the brain enhancement therapy, which I know you guys are going through. It's a little different because since you are in Arizona, you have to do the immersive sessions coming here to our neck of the woods. But that's a whole nother chapter that we could talk about in terms of what we're discovering. And in Stone's case, it just continues to see progress, which is really encouraging. I mean, the spelling stuff and the communication on its own has been an incredible journey. Now you kind of layer into the progress that we're seeing with the brain enhancement, and it's just, as he says, he's
game changer. That's all.
Right.
I mean, my husband's getting we're bringing it to Arizona. So did you know that?
Oh, no. I think they mentioned that, I think early discussions or something like that, but yeah, tell me more.
Yeah, he's already started with the modules and
wow.
Yeah, so we're gonna add it with Spellerzona because like I know this is huge, right? And
Oh, that's
after
awesome.
this is going to sound too good to be true, but I have to say it. So he had complained that his brain was on fire and lots of pressure. He's never had to my knowledge, had a seizure ever, but he felt like he was going to have one, like we were not in a good place. And it was so interesting. And then you had that podcast. And so this is again, I didn't really know what it was, David. I'm like, we're going to Washington.
I know.
My husband's like, what? I'm like, we're doing this. Same thing. People are asking me what was it. I'm like, I don't really know, but guess what?
I'll figure it out.
I'm researching it.
Yeah.
But like he said, after one session, the fire was gone. And Brady spelled, I didn't mean said, Brady spelled that he doesn't remember a time when he didn't have fire in his brain. It's been
wow, Brady.
long.
That's wow.
And after he did it, you should have seen him. It was like so flowy and light. The Down syndrome population, their motors are different. And some people say it's low tone. Some people say, I don't really know. I'm not buying the low tone all the time talk.
Yeah.
Heavy. I'm just going to say that. And then someone will say, well, it's low tone. There's more than just low tone. But they're heavier. 90% of them have a heavy arm. I can't explain it. And it's, some of them can barely even bring it up, literally. And so, but after that therapy, there was no heaviness. And by the way, the fire is still gone. And when were we there?
That's what I was going to ask. Oh, that was
still gone. I think we were there in June, was it? May.
Somewhere right around May, June. I think I'm trying to think in terms of the timing in our lives, because I think it was after we did the surfing camp in May. I think May sounds about right. So yeah, a couple months ago.
I know, and
that's awesome, and that's great that and that's something else to point out to listeners in terms of the brain enhancement therapy that we've seen too. It's not like, oh, it fades away or anything like that. I mean, this is like, it seems to be permanent change that they're able to create these however it works with the pathways or inflammation or whatever. I'm not sure.
That's gonna be my husband's department, but he's like, well, you learn it too. I'm like, just learn it. Give me the layman's terms. I don't know. I just know he feels better. He knows it, right? And I just can't wait to do it more frequently with him. And that's the main reason why we're going to Arizona. If I only do it on Brady, that's great. But I mean, we have the capability to bring it to other people too, right? So
yeah,
it's
that's
exciting.
so exciting. That's very exciting. Well, you'll have to keep me posted on that, and however I can help in that chapter as well. Okay, well, let's move on. We're going to go do our segments here. We've covered a lot of ground, but we do have kind of our weekly segments. And let's go ahead and start with our tip of the week. And we've got a little jingle here.
Hey, parents, gather around. It's time to speak. We're here with your tip of the week. Strategies and wisdom just for you. Autism parents, we know what you go through.
All right, it's time for our tip of the week. And this week, it's not just autism parents, it's Down syndrome parents as well. And Darcy, I know that you probably have multiple tips of the week, but what's the one that you want to share right now?
Okay, read, I'm telling you guys, age appropriate or higher book tonight. Every time I tell a parent, because they're like, what should we do? And, they book from out of state. I get a lot of out of staters. 4 this weekend are coming in.
Wow.
And it's crazy. So what do we do in the meantime? Read age appropriate. And guess what? You're going to start seeing things. And they do. So like classics, guys, not junk literature, classics, right? And they do start seeing different things coming out of the, like, oh my gosh, like they seem more confident. They're actually initiating more. Why? Well, they're probably feeling better because, hey, mom and dad are reading to me these age appropriate things. It's so big. You know that, right?
It makes a huge difference. I love that. That's got to be one of the best tips we've had so far, Darcy. Seriously, that's so good.
The day.
Yeah.
The day.
Yeah.
Happy.
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 And it's interesting, his writing sometimes mimics different, like right now he's doing Walt Whitman and all the
Oh, yeah.
poetry. Yeah. And you had a recent post in it, Walt Whitman likes to list. And he did that. I can't remember what the post was, but it was
I
a
love it.
list of where, I don't know, his happiness is flowing. And yeah, that was Stone.
Yeah, you heard Stone. Yeah, he popped in. He was saying he was happy. We're
Yay,
going.
happy.
This is our busy. From here we're going to pop off. He has occupational therapy, which is like floor time. He's going to go sleep. Yeah.
No,
You're so excited. I could tell.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's like I said, that's a great tip. Let's go ahead and move on to fact or fiction, and we have a jingle for that.
Get QuickTime ready, and here we go. This is Autism Fact or Fiction. We're breaking down what's real, what's rumor, and what might surprise you. Let's go.
All right, and again, this is a special Down syndrome edition or fact or fiction. Darcy, what do you got for us?
Okay. People with Down syndrome are always so happy.
Oh, that's
right.
a good.
Sorry,
That's a very good one. You're killing it today. That is one that you do hear that. You do hear that. That's a stereotype for sure.
I would have said it. I would have said it before spelling about Brady. For sure. I never had evidence that you were living in a prison of hell. I'm not kidding. That's what it is.
Right.
I'm not going to sugarcoat this, man. If you can't convey that you're all in there, you can't convey that you understand, and everybody in society and your family thinks you're cognitively delayed, that's worse than prison, folks.
Yeah, that is no, that is.
They're not always happy. They mask for sure and numb their emotions.
Numb, yeah.
Yeah. So
and you brought up a word earlier too, which is so true that I think we're all dealing with and treating in some form, which is trauma. How could you not be traumatized living that way? And I think that's another realization, frankly, that we, a reckoning, right, that we have to deal with.
Us too.
Yeah. But it's just reality, and you can deal with it, and it's helped. In our case, Stone is, he has a great therapist. Yeah, go sit. He's really wired. And and that's helped a lot. He talked about, it's great. She's fabulous, but it's just one of those other realities that we face.
Exactly.
All right, third on their list, the parent confession, and of course, we're going to have a jingle for that too.
Yeah.
Morning routines can go astray. Found socks in the fridge one day. Laughter's the best remedy. Hey, we're just finding our own way. Mom, dad confessions every week. Sharing joys and moments we seek. Honest tales that make us unique. Join the club, we're never meek.
Okay, well, like you said, I know, isn't that fun?
I've always wondered, did Stone write those?
No, can't give him credit for those. Those were we'll just say generated within our team. We'll just
love it.
Yeah. All right, parent confessions. Like I said, we're talking kind of off camera ahead of time. There's probably no shortage, but what's one that you want to share with our audience today?
We love the library, and for 18 years, always 100% of the time, Brady and I went to the children's section with the picture books.
Yeah.
Thank God picture books have good language, but they're picture books for little kids.
Yeah.
The first thing I did, kind of like what I had brought up before, I'm like, no. I think we got The Old Man in the Sea. Yeah, we got that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So like that's a confession, and but he likes them. Yeah. Well, if you don't have a reliable way to communicate or show emotion, yep, you're going to assume, well, he likes it. Yeah. Guess what? No. I mean, you might have liked some of the language, but that's not our go-to, right? So we're just so deceived by what we think and
Yeah.
guess and see. Brady has a lot of
Or
unreliability.
and project, probably, right? To a
Yeah.
certain degree.
Oh yeah, I was probably really good at that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, you're not, I mean, all of us. Oh, he likes it. Look, he's flipping through it or whatever it may be, right? And instead of like chucking it at your head, which is probably
I
what
mean,
he was
why didn't
thinking.
you?
Yeah, right.
Oh, that takes initiation.
Initiation,
That's part of the
right.
problem.
A whole nother topic. Well, that's awesome. That, man, like I said, you really brought it. Unfortunately, we're out of time for today. Like I said, we actually have an OT appointment we've got to get ready to. So, Darcy, I want to thank you for reminding us what's possible when we lead with belief instead of bias. Your work is opening doors not just for Brady, but for a whole generation of individuals with Down syndrome who have never been given a chance to really show who they are. And for listeners, I hope today's episode sparks something in you. Hope you get an opportunity to share it with others, particularly those, if you know, within the Down syndrome community, because we do want to get the word out. Every share helps amplify voices that have been silenced for too long. So until next time, I'm David Kaufer, and this has been The Lighter Side of the Spectrum.
Thanks, David.